Oops. Oh, okay. I thought that I crashed my recording software for a second there. Alright, let's pull up the agenda. I don't think I had anything planned for today. Today. Is this right? I might have to pull up my folder of videos and make sure that I'm not making episode 15 a second time. Yeah. Not that would be the worst thing in the world. No, I only have 14. Alright. Let's see. I am supposed to be getting some work done, and I'm gonna blow it off for the next 20 minutes. I accidentally closed all my tabs on the internet, so I have to hope that restoring my previous session brings everything back. Sometimes by the time I try to do that, I will have already used the internet for like one thing, and I'll restore a session that had like 2 tabs open, and I'll have lost everything. Yay! And then I'll have to kind of like dig through my history and be like, oh god, where is everything? Anyway, I have a request for more random clothing stories, so we'll get to some of that. What else did I have? Somebody wanted something. I don't know, ice cream stories, or just other wintertime, like wintertime stories. And then I guess we'll see where we get from there. Yeah. Just throw baking in there, because I always talk about it at some point, right? I made banana bread today. Yeah. I put brown sugar and cinnamon in it. Just like a touch to taste. I usually don't put milk in my banana bread, but I've seen several other banana bread recipes that have it, so I added a shot of milk for no reason. It was just not even like enough for it to really matter. Just I need to use. I have a gallon of milk that I need to use. Yeah. So that's a thing that is going on. So a clothing story. I guess I did just tell one story. I get bags of clothing from my cousins that will get rid of clothes all the time, and it's just kind of random. Go through. I don't wear jeans ever, not since I was like below the age of 7. Just not a clothing item I've ever been partial to. I go in and out of phases where I'll wear a lot of skirts or none for a while, so that's something I go back and forth with. I guess I wear skirts more in the winter when I can wear leggings with them. So usually during the summer months, I will not wear skirts ever. Or almost ever. It's just not a thing that I do too much. So I do have one crossover, a wintertime skirt story, when I had a horrible fever. And I'm coughing a ton right now as I try to tell this story of me being horribly ill. And the parking lot for my friend's apartment complex is quite a ways away. I don't know. I don't think it's probably like a quarter mile away, where it's quite a walk. Like all the way down to the light is probably, I don't know. And then you have to walk down farther, but we walked all the way out to his car, and I was just wearing a mini skirt. Just like totally feverish. I just nope, didn't even care. Didn't faze me at all. There's just yeah, just okay. And I think on the way back I got dropped off at the door. But yeah, it's just like one of those fun wintertime adventures when your friends are just like, there's something really wrong with you today. You're ill and should stay inside. And you're just like too like feverishly delirious to do anything about it. And you're just like, nah, I'm fine. Let's go. Let's do a bunch of things and stuff. We were shopping for a friend's birthday, so I felt obligated to go to the store with them, get a cake and a piñata and all of that. Yes, this is all true. And something else. Just a quip right there. Where's some other silly one? Oh, reminds me of this one girl that I used to know. I guess I still know her. This is a funny phrase. This person I used to know. I still know of them. It only really works if they're dead. But people use it all the time. Somebody that I used to hang out with that I no longer really do. Just funny. Just kind of stopped being friends after high school, during high school, yeah, during the beginning of high school. And we had been friends since like we were like can remember things. So I mean, we'd really been drifting apart like you do around high school age. And we just grew up into really different sorts of people. So we had like almost nothing in common, so it wasn't that bad of a split. We didn't have a fight or anything. We just kind of stopped talking. And then, drifted off. And recently she contacted me about becoming friends again, and we have not talked since then. I sent her a message like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. And never heard back, which is sort of fine, because I don't think that even now we would really have anything in common. Probably just get together a couple times and just be like, oh, remember how we used to do this together? Which is what I'm going to tell stories about for the next probably like 5 minutes. So I'm going to tell wintertime stories with this girl that I used to hang out with. So one time, it had been one of those times when it snows like 10 feet. Not 10 feet. 10 feet is a lot of snow. Well, it snowed quite a bit. It was like 2 feet. Where like people's roofs were caving in and things like that. In other places, not around me. But we had like these huge snow drifts. It had been snowing a ton that winter. Like, it was ridiculous. And we just were outside playing in the snow, and we climbed up on the roof of the house, and we were jumping into snowdrifts. So that was one of my experiences jumping off a 2-story building. And it was just one of those things you do as a kid, where you're just like, oh, this kind of sounds like it could be dumb, but yeah, let's do it anyway. And so yeah, that's one experience that I have. I've jumped off a building before. Another, I mean, we did a lot that day, but it was just, the mundane build snow forts, throw snow at people, go in and have hot chocolate. I think we went out like 3 times that day too. Or it was like one of those, we got the day off of school, sort of, like, just did a lot. I remember we like shoveled a bunch of the snow from other areas of the yard and piled it up even taller in certain areas to build a snow fort. I think we went sledding that day too. I don't know. I don't remember. Anyway, another time that I was hanging out with this girl, this time near her house, there's a big lake near where she lives, like down the street. So we had all gone and we had been out sledding for a while, and her and I just like walked over to the frozen lake, and our one friend like had found like a cinder block just like lying on the beach, like just grabbed it and broke through the ice on the lake, which was very thick that year. It took a cinder block to break through it on a thin point. So her and I, we just stuck our feet right in the water and just like sat there chilling for a while. And it was one of those, I don't know if you've ever had your feet in frozen water before. I have several times in my life. And it's a very interesting experience. For like, I mean, we had been out in the snow for a while, so you know, like if your feet get kind of hot in boots, so my feet were kind of warm, so it felt kind of nice. Didn't really like feel cold, where you have that like initial like, oh, that's kind of, actually it's kind of nice. And that year I actually had boots that fit, so I didn't lose one, which is nice. And I think I had borrowed boots, actually, which makes more sense because I don't think I've ever owned a pair of my own boots that fit. Yeah, quite a life there. But I just was just chilling there, and we were chatting, and our other friend was like, dude, it's like, this is weird, like, we were like, just put your feet in with us, why not, why wouldn't you do this, like, we're totally fine, and we were just chatting for a while, and by the time we actually did pull our feet out of the frozen lake, we could, like, barely walk. We were like, wow, our feet are, like, pretty frozen, and we had to call her dad to come pick us up, even though, they lived, like, right down the street. That was, pretty good times. Yeah, I guess, the only things that I ever really did too much with that friend was just, like, play card games. We just didn't really have a lot in common, which is, you know, like, you have, like, some of those categories of, like, friends that, here or there that, you just kind of get along with better, or, like, ever had one of those friends where you, like, knew them, and you knew that you had a lot in common, but you never really hung out with them. It's just, like, every time you're like, oh, like, I should spend more time getting to know this person, and you just never do. And then you have other friends who you have, like, literally nothing in common with, and for some reason they're, like, one of the friends that you either talk to or hang out with the most. I usually talk to and hang out with the most with friends that I do have random certain things that are overlapping, or certain friends where, like, the only thing that we ever do is watch movies. We get together and we watch movies and cook, and it's great. Or we get together and we play video games and cook, and it's great. It's just kind of going how it overlaps sometimes. What are some other wintertime stories? I think I already talked about how I biked around for the first snow here. And I've gone sledding, and I haven't gone sledding in the last few years, but I used to go every year quite a few times. I had a pretty awesome sled, but I remember one of the last times I went sledding was, like, near some, like, really crazy, like, hill that just, it went down like forever, and a bunch of people like had made jumps like random locations down the hill. So if you like steered correctly, if you had an awesome sled like I did, you could steer correctly and go off the jumps. And I don't, like, people just like packed down the snow. I don't even know how they did it. Just, there are these like really epic jumps where you just like fly like 8 feet in the air. I would always land standing up because crashing down onto the hard ground after flying off like 8 feet in the air is not fun. But everybody else would just like land and be like, oh my god, that just hurt. But we did it over and over. Again, that just like thing when you're a kid and you're like, this thing that I could do, or oh, that hurt, let's do it again, is, it's just like a thing that we all do. And then you grow up and you remember back to those times when you did stupid things that hurt over and over and you're not really sure why you did it. But we all have those stories. I guess I might not have as many. Knowing to land standing up or something like that. Or I'd just let my sled fly faster than I was going off the jump and land. I think one of the times I landed with one foot on the sled, so I fell over, but falling over from standing up does not hurt quite as much as falling from like 6 or 8 feet in the air. So, onto a hard sled, onto the ground, possibly crushing your hand because you tried to grab the sled, which happened to multiple friends that day. We did find another like area on the hill. There was this one, it was like a path that was very steep and it was like almost all ice going down, and it was a very narrow path, like through like a thicket. So there were a bunch of like trees really close together, and a couple of my friends actually were like, because everybody was just like standing like, should we do this? I don't think we should do this. And it like, if you went all the way down, which you would have to go all the way down because it was so steep that you wouldn't be able to stop. You couldn't, and there were trees on either side, so you couldn't even like try to roll off your sled. And even if you did, you would have just slid straight down, and that would have hurt. Which happened to a couple people. Because yes, we did talk about, I don't think I'm gonna go down there, and then 2 people ended up doing it, and at the very bottom was the lake, the frozen lake, which the ice was very thick that year, so it didn't matter that you were coming out on the lake, but it was so steep that after you like got all the way down to the lake, they would just go across the lake. Not like all the way across, but they just like ended up in the middle of the lake and had to walk all the way back and then go up a different side of the really tall hill because you could not get back up that slope. It was just really steep and it was all ice. And a couple of our friends that went down, they all lost their sleds and were like just free falling down this like icy, broken up ice like chunks, and said that it really hurt. So that yeah, sledding adventures, yay. I remember when I was really little, I went sledding somewhere that had like a bunch of trees and rocks around like the trees under the snow, and it was later in the season, so some of the snow had like melted in certain areas, and I remember like just like almost every time you would go down, you would lose your sled on this stupid hill. It was behind one of my friends' brother's houses. And it was just like, my brother's friend's house. I said that backwards. And we just kept like, and I remember like people are hitting their heads on the rocks and like just going over the rocks and like getting hurt. And it was just like fantastic childhood experience. But yeah, those are some random clothing wintertime stories and more baking. Yeah, so that's the thing. that I talked about just now. Yep.